Now, move in, move out. Hands up, hands down. Back up, back up. Sean, tell me what we're going to do now. We're going to start reviewing on Is It? I think that's probably as much variation as you can put into your shits.
It's quite hard to change up my shits. We've tried. The short shits don't work.
Short shits don't work.
Just not satisfying.
No. Depends on volume.
It does depend on volume. I can't really go very, very loud.
No, that wasn't what I meant.
Oh, volume. Does depend on volume. 100% it does.
Okay, so here we are.
Here we are again.
Back Don's Le Mixdown HQ.
Yes.
So, what are we looking at today, Sean?
Well, today, Dan, it's a slightly controversial one, I feel, because we're going to look at the make-believe audio Mixhead.
I don't believe it.
Well, you've got to believe it. They're going to make you believe it. This is an interesting one because back in the 90s, SPL made a hardware digital tape emulator.
So, we did talk about this briefly.
We did.
So, just when you were going digital, trying to get away from tape,
exactly
you were
that
going
point.
into the box.
Yes.
Somebody made a digital hardware tape emulator.
Yeah, I think it was at the time of when
It's either very, very clever to the point I don't get, or very, very stupid.
Yeah. So this was the time when people were using a completely digital signal chain almost. There was a lot of digital desks in studios. You know, Neve had the Capricorn. People were using that big Sony thing. There was, what was the other one? The Euphonics. There was a whole bunch of digital desks, and we were recording to either digital tape or moving over to digital hard disk.
Radar,
all that stuff. Exactly that. And then it was probably around the time that TLA and people like that started bringing out all these tube products, and it was the whole selling point was let's put some warmth back into these cold digital recordings. And yeah, SPO had this thing called Machine Head, and it was a weird 1U rack unit, only had digital connections, there was no analog connections, and it digitally simulated the sound of analog tape, which at the time I didn't get. I don't think they were massively popular. I never saw one, and I've only heard of them really since, and it was a couple of producers have since said, oh yeah, that was part of my sound. Anyway, Make Believe Audio have done a version of this. I'm not sure it's modelled on one, maybe it is. I'm pretty sure that because it's digital, if they'd have done a deal with SPL, they could have just ported over the digital code, but I don't think they did because it doesn't say SPL on it. It's got their logo in the style of an SPL logo, and they've renamed it Mixhead.
Bit like my Noki trainers that I'm wearing.
Noki trainers would be a similar thing to this. Yes, it's not quite what the original was, but anyway.
So it looks fucking shit. Tell us a bit about it.
It looks shocking. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it does look like the original unit, but you know, not in every case is that something we want, is it? It's a ropey old LED display, 4 controls in the knob variety and 2 controls in the button variety. Interestingly, the power button, which looks like an old school sort of lit up power button, when you click on it, the power doesn't go on or off, nothing happens, but the animated flicker on the light stops flickering. So I'm glad they put that there in there for us. That's made all the difference.
So it's not a bypass then?
I think it's supposed to be, but it's not right now.
Right, okay. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting one. A lot of people are raving about it. I do get the vibe it's a bit of an Emperor's New Clothes situation. There's a lot of people going on about how it's incredible and, you know, there's nothing like it. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
Let's put the old bins on so I can see. Let's go through the controls.
The binoculars.
The old binoculars. It's very simple. There's an input gain and there's a drive control at the beginning. I don't think input gain is just input gain. It appears to very much affect the sound. It might be because it's driving more in, but it appeared to be doing more than that. The drive is what it sounds like. If you twist it too much, it does distort. High frequency adjust control and an output gain. And then the first of the buttons is tape speed. You've got, on the original, there was only 15 and 30 inches per second. And on this one, they give you, I think it's 3.5 inches per second, which is obviously the one that's going to have the most analogness to it.
Sounds a bit like my sex life.
What, full 3.5?
3.5, yeah, 3.5 inches per second.
Yeah, sounds about right.
At full throttle.
Full throttle. Don't want those thoughts in my head. Moving on swiftly. And then there's active or not active. And then you got your 3...
A bit like my sex life.
There you go. See, this is a metaphor for Dan's sex life. You've got an input trim. You got one of those?
Yeah, no.
Drive level? Drive level, always low. Low amount of drive. And then an output, ppm meter. Yeah, very, very simple to operate. I think it's really funny. It comes with loads of presets, but there's almost no controls on it.
Yeah.
So
somebody's gone, blah, 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 save.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 save.
None of them appear to be all that. If you could, just mess with it. Interestingly, the 3.5 inch per second setting was the only one that made a significant sort of effect that you could hear and use as something that was audible. If you just want to give it that tape sound, the 15 or the 30 will do it.
So does it do anything that anything else that you own can't do?
Well, this was where I am with it, in that no, I don't think so. I totally get what some of the reviews have said, and that they said you put it across the mix, it just instantly sounds better. There does appear to be like a low end bump, kind of warmth down the bottom end, and it does do that thing to the top end that tape does. It does sound kind of nice, but yeah, basically the controls, all they do is enable you to get that sound no matter what you're putting through it. You have to adjust it to get the sound you want. It really only does one thing, I think.
It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? It's in that you're using a digital tape emulation that was used when we first went to digital, in a digital system, when actually you want an analog tape emulator. Well,
look, I have a hardware tape emulator, which I love, the HRK system. That sounds great. But I've used a lot of digital plug-in tape emulations, all of which are more versatile than this, all of which can do exactly what this does, I think. I messed around with PSP's Vintage Warmer, and that will do almost the same sound as this. So, look, I get it. If you just want a one-stop shop, insert that, boom, done. Yeah, okay, it'll work. But you've probably got a plugin that will get you the exact same sound. It's not magic dust. I'm not really sure why so many people are saying that it is. I think people are scared to stick their head out and go, hang on.
So if as we encourage people to do, you were going to go out there and try it yourself?
Yes.
How long could you try it for?
You could get a 30-day demo.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah. Yeah.
You could spend pretty much 10 days working on each of the controls.
If you had some issues. Yeah. that's yeah.
1 day for each preset.
It's insane, the amount of presets. Price-wise, it's $179, Dan.
Oh, well, in that case...
I mean, Jesus Christ. It's pretty much a one-trick pony, and it's a trick. You've already got ponies that will do that trick. So I don't get that. It's currently on sale for $99. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Are people too scared to say, but hang on, I've got something that sounds the same.
It just looks like shit as well. You know, when you open a plugin, you want something I don't know.
Well, this looks like designed in the days of Windows 95, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. That's exactly what it looks like. So, Sean Vincent,
yes.
The mix feed, the
Mixhead.
Mixhead.
The make-believe audio Mixhead.
Yeah, it's fucking make-believe, all right. Is it shit?
I'm going to say it's a bit shit. That's just, look, if this was 30 quid, the fact that you stick it over the mix and things sound better, I'd still probably never use it. It might be, I'm having a real tough time making a mix, just have that final little thing. I might try it out as one of a number of things, but I've got a number of things that can do what this does. I don't need it.
Okay, there you go. Detroit. Please like the video.
That would be very nice if you did. If you could also subscribe to the channel, that always helps. You can also become a channel member, and there's various good things about that.
Yeah, there are. Come on. What are those good things?
Well, firstly, you get to see videos as soon as they're uploaded rather than when they're scheduled for. That
might not be 20 minutes before.
It could be. The Friday one might only be just before, but the others you'll see a couple of days early. And if you get the higher level of membership, you get one free master a month from my mastering business, which ain't bad.
Which is worth 50 quid.
That's worth 50 quid, yeah. So you're already getting a bargain just doing that.
Dealio. Anyway, Instagram 101. We got a load of links sort of down here, so go and have a look at those. So until next time, sayonara, suckers.
Adios.